come back to me so I can get rid of all the frequencies that are in it, because they can't sell it with those frequencies. So like I say, when it comes to certain things, you know, I'm going all day, I'm out here working on this thing, you know, people say, oh, I know what you're going through. You don't. You don't. I appreciate the thought and you saying it. However, I know it's bullshit because you don't know what I'm going through. Now, what I want to do here is I want to get this done. I'm tired of screwing around with this thing. These two wires here. This ground strap that I'm putting together seems to be the biggest problem. This is almost worse than doing the transmission. Really. I'm going to try another solder. This solder may be one of the problems too. It's saying, it's not one that I normally buy. It's saying that it's 4060. But for some reason it just doesn't seem to want to work the way I think it should work. Guys, solder is a little too thin. What I'm looking for some reason I don't see it anywhere. That's not it. Alright, let's try this one. Let's try doing it this way. Well, that's another option. I didn't think of that. But no, that's not going to work. Let's do this. Now, like I say, it's tough because you're limited on funds, and I can understand that. Especially now, so. I don't care what. Alright, so I think that was the problem. The solder. Because now, I got two nice solder joints there. Now you know what I'm looking for. I found it. I found it. I was going to say, I'm looking for the other piece of wire to solder. Okay, so that's going to go there. And this is going to go onto there. I like to strip that back a little bit more because I want to give myself enough. No, this may do it. Let's see. I'm going to do it the same way. I'm going to wrap the wire. And I'm going to get a little piece of solder. I'm going to wrap that around that. That'll kind of help hold it in place. That's the plan anyway. Nice and tight. Keep it from unraveling. Yeah. Let's see if that'll stay. Under enough. I think that wire or solder will hold it. Should anyway. But as the solder gets warm, starts to melt, it may lose its holding power. Holding power. Okay, so let's do it that way. And I'm going to take a little bit more solder, just in case. Get the gun nice and hot. Hot, hot, hot. Come on. Smoke. Kind of put a little tin on the tin on the tip. Let that cool for a second. So you're soldering it, and you want it to seep through the wire so it solders everything and not just the outside. And you want to get the heat under it as well, so the solder will suck through the wire. You know, trying to get to the heat. To the heat, to the heat. I think we're on the right track here, guys. Let me see if I can roll this one on here without getting burnt. Without getting burnt. Burnt. Okay. Let's do a little more solder wrap. I'm using the solder. Well, I'll show you in a minute. Hold on. Nice and tight. Nice and tight. Solder's kind of, I've never done it like this before, but I just figured let me try it. Seems to be working. I've got the two pieces of wire wrapped together, head on. And what I had done was, with the first two pieces, I wrapped them together, head on. And soldered them, and it worked great. So now I'm taking the other piece. Well, hold on a minute. Almost there. Okay, I took two pieces of wire and put them together this way, twisted them, and it was long enough. You can always cut it off, but I wanted to make sure that it was long enough, and I wanted a good flat end. So I twisted those wires together. Then I took some of this thin solder and I wrapped it around that, like a little coil, around that twisted set of wires. Naturally, it was filled up with flux as well. And I got the iron real hot and I started melting it underneath and here and there, and it all kind of just sucked right in. So the wire, the solder that was holding the wires together cold, ended up soldering the wires together the way it should have done. And then I did that with another pair. I did the same thing. So then I have two pair. So then I took a big one and I split it. And then I came on and I wrapped it around this way, being in here like this on one of the pair. And I wrapped that with solder, and that's the one I just put together. And that all soldered up together. Again, lots of flux, because the flux will help it seep through. And then I did the same thing on this one. So now I have them both wrapped together. And now I'm going to do that. So the solder wire was kind of holding everything together for me, so that I could solder it. And when I soldered it, it soldered them together instead of just being wrapped around them. Put a little more flux on that. Looking at it saying, I don't think there's enough flux on that little puppy. Flux, flux, flux. I gotta order more flux. Now I keep thinking about it, and then what do? You forget about it. Forget about it. You forget about it. And I gotta find out where the other solder went. Anyway, not worry about that right now. Let's do this. Now, even though I got the solder wrapped around it, I'm adding some as I go along. I'm waiting for a call, so that might be her. Yes. Valerie.